The history of the LGBTQ movement in India is complex and multifaceted. India has a long history of diverse gender and sexual identities that can be traced back to ancient times, often intertwined with religious, cultural, and social contexts. Here are some key points in the history of the LGBTQ movement in India. 1. Ancient and medieval periods. India has a rich history of diverse gender and sexual identities dating back to ancient times. Many Indian mythological and religious texts, such as the Kama Sutra, depict a wide range of sexual orientations and gender expressions. The Hijra community, for example, traces its origins to ancient Indian texts. These texts often celebrated the fluidity of gender and the complexity of human relationships. 2. Colonial era. During British colonial rule, Victorian-era values and moral standards were imposed on Indian society. The British introduced laws that criminalized same-sex relationships under Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code in 1861. This law was a reflection of the prevailing British attitudes toward homosexuality and had a profound impact on Indian society for generations to come. 3. Emergence of LGBTQ activism. The modern LGBTQ rights movement in India started gaining traction in the late 20th century. Organizations like the NAS Foundation began advocating for the rights of sexual minorities. In 2001, the NAS Foundation filed a bill challenging the constitutionality of Section 377, marking a significant step in the fight against discrimination. 4. Historic Delhi High Court verdict. In a historic ruling in 2009, the Delhi High Court ruled that consensual same-sex relationships between adults should not be considered criminal. This landmark verdict marked a significant departure from the previous legal stance and was celebrated as a victory for LGBTQ rights and human rights in India. 5. Supreme Court setback. However, in 2013, the Indian Supreme Court overturned the Delhi High Court's decision and recriminalized homosexuality under Section 377. This decision was met with outrage and disappointment from the LGBTQ community and its allies, who saw it as a setback in the fight for equality and justice. 6. Struggle for rights. The setback spurred renewed activism. LGBTQ individuals, along with activists and allies, organized public protests, awareness campaigns, and cultural events to raise visibility and demand equal rights. This period saw a growing movement for social change and the push to repeal Section 377. 7. Second historic Supreme Court verdict. In a monumental ruling in 2018, the Supreme Court of India overturned its previous decision and struck down Section 377, decriminalizing consensual same-sex relationships among adults. This verdict was celebrated as a major step toward equal rights and recognition for the LGBTQ community in India. 8. Ongoing challenges and progress. Despite legal victories, challenges remain. Discrimination, stigma, and lack of legal recognition for same-sex marriages persist. The LGBTQ community continues to strive for broader societal acceptance, equal rights, and protection from discrimination. 9. Transgender rights. The struggle for LGBTQ rights also includes transgender individuals. In 2014, the Supreme Court recognized transgender people as a third gender, and affirmed their rights to equality and non-discrimination. This recognition was an important step toward addressing the specific challenges faced by the transgender community in India. The history of LGBTQ rights in India is marked by a journey from ancient acceptance to colonial oppression and, ultimately, to a modern fight for equality. The legal victories and setbacks reflect the complexity of societal attitudes and the ongoing efforts to create a more inclusive and just society for all individuals, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. If you like this video, don't forget hit that subscribe button. It's free for you, but motivates me to make videos on such untalkable topics. Thank you.